Hello friends and welcome to Tech Talk. In this classroom, we will be learning about how to install Active Directory child domain using PowerShell. So first, we will set up our fresh new server 2019 core edition. We will set up its static IP and hostname. Then we will proceed with installation of child domain. So let's get started. So here in my computer, we have two DCs, DC1 and DC2. DC1 is the domain controller of the parent domain, and here it is. And we have installed a fresh Server 2019 Core Edition, which will be acting as the domain controller for our child domain. The name of the domain will be fin.techtalk.lab. So let's get started. Here I will press Ctrl Alt Delete and it will ask for password of administrator user. I will provide it and it will log in. So once we log in, we see only command prompt console is there. So to convert it from command prompt to PowerShell, we will type PowerShell.exe and press enter. It will load PowerShell for us. See this PS, this means it has been transferred to PowerShell. Now if we want to switch back to command prompt, we will just type the command cmd and it will be back to command prompt. Now if by an accident I close this command prompt, then it will be a terrible task. What happened? I do not have Control Alt Delete, Alt Tab or Start button to get my command prompt or any utility. So what I will do a Control Alt Delete. It will list all the options. I will select Task Manager from here. And once the Task Manager is loaded, I will go to Files here, Run New Task, and I will name either CMD if you want to open a command prompt, or we can type PowerShell. So here I'll just use command prompt, and then I will switch to PowerShell. So first, we have two utilities, two commands with which we can do the basic configuration. The first is sconfig. It's a menu-driven utility which will give us the menu we need to select, and then we can perform various actions. So what action that we want to perform is to change its host name and to configure a static IP. So this is the computer name. This is a very generic name it has currently. So say I want to change this. So I will select 2 and press enter, and it will ask for a new computer name. Fine, I will not change it from here. I will change it from PowerShell. So I just pressed cancel. Next, what are the options that I want to change is static IP. So for that, I will select option 8, press enter, and see it is showing the list of adapters or network cards that are in my server. If I select, say I want to change IP for this 1. So I will select 1 and just a second. 1 and I'll press enter, and then it will give me options to set network adapter address, set DNS, clear DNS, return to main menu. I do not want to set anything from this utility. I will switch to PowerShell, and there we will see various commands. So once we are loaded to PowerShell, we will first rename this computer. So the command is rename computer with a switch new name, and the new name should be DC2. So it's saying the changes will take place after you restart the computer, and this is the current name of the computer which will be changed once we reboot. We will not listen to this. We will also configure the IP and then we will restart the server at once. So what is its current IP? So if we check the current IP for both the adapters, for Ethernet 1 it is showing this IP, and for Ethernet 0 it is showing as this IP. The thing is that I want to configure my network so that it can able to communicate with my parent domain controller. So I would like to set up a static IP for this domain controller, a netmask, and default gateway. As default gateway, I will mention it as my parent domain controller. So the command is New-NetIPAddress, and on which adapter we want to do it. It will be on Ethernet. It will be on Ethernet, say Ethernet 0. We want to configure it on. So Ethernet 0. And what will be its IP address? Its IP address will be 192.168.1.11. The prefix length. So prefix length is like subnet mask. Like when we type subnet mask, we do it like this. So instead of subnet mask, we will provide a CIDR version of subnet mask, which is referred as prefix length is the command, and prefix length or CIDR equivalent to that subnet is 24. So then I will also mention its default gateway, and default gateway will be the IP of the domain controller of my parent domain and address family as IPv4. So all set. I will hit enter and things will be converted. Now, if I actually run this ipconfig/all, you will see that Ethernet Ethernet 0 is also giving us IPv6 values. I do not want IPv6, so I want to disconnect or deconfigure this IPv6. So what will be the command for it? So the command will be Disable-NetAdapterBinding, and we will give the name which adapter we are talking about. It is Ethernet 0. There's a typo, Ethernet 0. Then what we gonna say? We want to give the component ID, like which component we want to disable. Component ID, if we want to disable ms underscore tcp IP6. So now if I do an ipconfig all, you see that IPv6 details from Ethernet 0 has been removed, but it is not removed from Ethernet 1. Fine. So two things is configured. Now let us see if now we will set the DNS server. To set the DNS server, we will type the command set DNS client server address and InterfaceAlias on which adapter we want to have this configured on. It will be on Ethernet 0, and what will be the server address? Server address will be 192.168.1.10, because again the parent domain controller is the DNS server here. Press enter, and now if I do an ipconfig all, what are the details I have? I have default gateway set, I have subnet mask set. So everything is set now. Let me try to check if I am able to ping my gateway or ping my parent domain controller. It will 192.168.1.10. Let us see. Yes, we are able to ping. So once this IP is configured, and we can see that we are able to reach the primary domain controller or the parent domain controller, my bad. We also need to verify if our parent domain controller is able to communicate with this child domain controller, because without communication, we will not be able to set the child domain. So we will go to the parent domain controller here, and we will open command prompt. Here in the command prompt of the parent domain controller, and we will do a ping of 192.168.1.11. I don't think it's happening. One reason it's not happening is because there might be firewalls that are blocking the traffic. So we need to disable that firewall, or in other words, we need to enable the firewall in such a way that it allows all kind of traffic. Now this is a lab setup, so I will be creating a command that will allow all traffic. In production it will be definitely be limited one. So what is the command? To create new net firewall rule, what will be the display name? Display name will be allow all, name will be again allow all, and what on which profile? Profile as in like, do we want to apply this on public network, private network, domain network? I want it to be applied on all the networks, that is in all the profiles. And what will be the direction of the traffic? Direction of the traffic will be inbound, because it is able to ping my pen domain controller. So outbound is fine, inbound is being blocked. So I will write the command direction as inbound. Then I will do action like, okay, what do I need to do with it? I need to allow it, and then I will write the command whether it's enabled or not, and it will be true. So this will be the command. Do a host name once. Okay, we are yet to do a reboot. So I think everything that we need to configure, if we do ipconfig/all, so we can see we have configured the host name, we have configured the IP, we have also enabled a firewall rule. We will verify if my parent domain controller is able to connect with my server. Yes, see, now it is able to connect. So everything is fine. We will now reboot our child domain controller. So again, restart computer, and that's that. So we will be back once the restart is completed. Okay, so we are back after the server is rebooted. We will enter the password and login. And let's see. The host name is changed to DC2 now. And the default gateway, subnet mask, DNS server, my IP address, everything has been configured properly. So now we will proceed with installing the Windows feature. Install Windows feature. Okay, my bad. I need to switch to PowerShell first. PowerShell.exe. So we are in PowerShell. We will type install the Windows feature. We will give the name. The name of the feature is AD domain services, and we want to include all its sub-feature and include all management tools. Include management tools. We will press enter. So once it is installed, it will automatically restart the server, and once it is done, we will be back. We will pause the video till then. Okay, so it has been completed. So we see that we are getting success, and restart needed is giving no. So that's great then. So the things are installed. So the feature is installed. Now we have to install the Active Directory child domain. So what is the command for it? It is install ADDS. And what are the options? We have this ADDS domain to install this child domain. If we run this command, ADDS domain controller, it will install a domain controller in an existing domain. And we do not want to do that. We will go to ADDS domain. And what are the switch we will be using? We will be using new domain name, and it will be fin. We want to give the parent domain name. It will be techdoc.lab. What will be the domain type? It is child domain. Domain mode or domain functional level, that will be win threshold. So that means it will be equivalent to 2016. and then we want to give its credential. That is, when it will try to communicate with my parent domain controller to register fin.techtalk.lab as a child domain of techtalk.lab, we must pass a credential that has that authority in my parent domain to perform this action. So instead of passing on a credential like username and password in plain text, what I will do, I will use another utility of PowerShell, that is get credential. If I keep it like this, I can enter any username, any password, but I want to specify on for which user you want to enter the password. So even by mistake, I do not mention a user which does not have that authority. To avoid that, I will mention this user for which I want to enter the password, administrator. Fine. So I do not think we need any more details here, and we are good to press enter. So let's do it. Say it's asks for password. I will enter the password for the administrator user from TechTalk domain. Done. OK. It's asking for the DSRM safe mode administration password. So this password will be used if we need to recover an object or recover this Active Directory. So the target server will be configured as domain controller and restarted. Do you want to continue with this operation? Yes, of course. So it has started its action. So once this is completed, we will be back again. We will be pausing this video till then.
So now we got it installed and it is showing as completed.
It will need a restart. We will do a sign out and it will perform a reboot. So we are back. When the server is rebooted, we will press Ctrl Alt Delete and see it has installed the account fin/administrator. So now when we will enter the password for this administrator account, we will log in. Once logged in, we will switch to PowerShell using the command PowerShell.exe. We are in PowerShell now, and we will now try to type the command get domain. It's get edit domain, I believe. Yes, it is. So get edit domain, press enter, and we will get all the details of this child domain controller. So the DNS root is fin.techtalk.lab, and what is its PDC? It is actually PD simulator, but this will be its host name, dc2.fin.techtalk.lab, and the forest or which this child domain or this domain has been installed, it is techtalk.lab, and the parent domain is also equivalent to forest. In this case, it is techtalk.lab. So that means it has been installed successfully. We can also verify this from the parent domain controller, and we'll load the server manager. From here we will go to tools and then Active Directory domains and trust. So when we open this console, we can find the child domain installed. C fin.techtalk.lab has been installed. So that's that. So this is how we install a child domain and verified it. And if you have any queries or you need to know some more details, feel free to bombard the comment section, and definitely like, share, and subscribe to Tech Talk. Have a great day. Happy learning. Bye bye.